Excuse me, could you point me in the direction of ScreamCity? Never mind, I think I found it.
Hello, horror freaks. Welcome back to ScreamCity. I'm your host, Jessica.
And I'm Monica, and today we are talking about the new 2023 film, Evil Dead Rise.
And of course, before we get into this movie,
Because it was a movie.
This was a movie.
This one was a movie.
Monica and I trauma bonded over it, but of
100%.
course we'll talk about that a little bit later. But before we continue on with the movie, let's go ahead and get our peak and pit out of the way. So, Monica, what has been your peak and pit for the past few days?
I think my peak is going to be that I've gotten back into reading. I know I said that I was in a bit of a reading slump for a long time, so I'm slowly getting back into it. And I rearranged some things in my apartment, which I feel made me feel better. Because I don't know if you can tell, but I also, like, the stack of my books feels less because I now have one bookshelf.
Something like that. Okay.
So
okay.
It makes me feel a little less overwhelmed of, like,
Yeah.
how much I have left to read.
Perfect.
So that feels pretty good. And then my pit is that since I had to work yesterday, I was not able to attend my book club's book swap meeting because I held it at Escapade,
yeah. I used to work
Spade?
at Escapade, yeah.
I am familiar with that brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they held it at Kate Spade, and I know that would have been really cool, and I'm sure they
Dude,
had fun,
I'm mad that I missed it. I
Yeah.
would have I'm not even in the book club, but I would have loved
it
to
looked
go.
so cute, and they had like a little book swap, and then they got like
Yeah.
a sneak peek of like I think their spring collection or summer
Yeah,
collection.
that's
I'm not
so
sure, but
awesome.
yeah, so it looked fun, and I'm sad since I had to work, but it's fine. There will be other events.
Yeah.
But what about yours?
My peak is that I started the new position at work.
Yes.
I like it.
Good.
I think it's pretty fun, and I think it's exactly what I want to do because at the moment I don't want to be hands-on at the hospital that I'm working at, but
Yeah.
I love to watch the behind the scenes. And since
the
I
scenes
work up
going on.
front, it's I can never really
Right.
watch what goes on behind the scenes. So
Right.
this new position is helping me.
It lets you be a little nosy. It lets you see what's going on.
I sure am nosy. So, yeah. So I'm very excited. My pit is a really sad one. I mean, we're good now, but I had to hospitalize my baby girl, Autumn,
Yes.
my cat.
AKA Spawn of Satan.
No, I mean,
ma'am.
yes, she did sound like the beginning of the Disturbed song.
100%.
When she was howling, she was singing the song of her people.
I love that.
She fought 3 sedatives.
Mm-hmm.
And because she is a hashtag warrior, just like her mama,
Okay.
like me,
All right.
she's a fighter. It was pretty scary. I did cry many times, but she's good. She's back to her little aggressive little self.
Good.
So, but
Right.
anyway, yeah,
Well,
no,
I mean, she wasn't feeling bad enough to not fight, so
Right.
that's always a good sign.
that is definitely a good sign. But yeah,
All right. Well, we're glad you're out of that pit because that is a really
you.
sucky pit.
Yeah.
I've been there and it sucks. Okay, but let's go ahead and get into this film. So like we mentioned in every episode for this movie especially, there will be huge spoilers, especially for this movie. So don't say that we didn't warn you. Please go watch it and then come and listen to this episode because we will be talking about a lot. Now, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis, and of course it comes from Miss Google. A reunion between 2 estranged sisters gets cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons. Does that say thrusting? Thrusting them into a primal battle of survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family entanglement.
imaginable.
Oh, and wow, I can't read. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's the synopsis.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, honestly, I guess, for the plot, really.
Right.
So we love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now that we have that out of the way, Monica, what was your first impression watching this film for the first time? And what would you say is your favorite scene and kill?
That is thank you for asking, because
course.
I am still processing this movie.
100% me too.
So Jessica and I just finished watching this together last night, and we went with our friends and Jessica's sister, and my first impression is automatically that I loved it. It did what it needed to do, because I went home spooked. Yes, ma'am. It went home spooked.
Capital
Yes, ma'am.
P.
Capital P, capital K.
Yes.
Yeah, spooked. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, I mean, we are going to go over a lot for this movie,
Yeah.
so I'll reserve some of my thoughts, but I will say that this was extreme on the gore. So if you are easily squeamish to blood or like killings of any sort, they don't shy away from anything. But I loved it.
Oh, yes. I mean, of course, we are going to talk about a little bit more about this in a second, but long story short, if you like Terrifier 2, you gonna like this.
I was gonna say that Jessica, when we were getting out, she was like, it was giving me Terrifier 2, and I completely agreed. The gore in this is, it's pretty much on the same level, if anything, so... But it's okay. We need more gore movies. We've kind of shined away from it. So I'm glad they're bringing it back. So both Jess and I we were writing on our order cards because we went to Alamo Draft House. And so when we got out, we showed that we were writing on our little order cards, which we actually have here with us.
Yeah, we sat separated from each other. Like our
friends were in between us.
And I didn't know that she was doing that.
And I didn't know she was doing it either.
And I think it's just like the workflow.
The workflow of it was just so... This was definitely a work meeting for us.
It was a work meeting. It was a work field trip.
Friends were there to experience it with us.
All of our other friends were there for fun. We were there for work.
Right.
We were serious.
We were 100% serious.
Yes.
We were taking in every minute of this movie. So we appreciate it for our friends who got to see that. And our notes are pretty long, so we will be going through those here in a minute. But I did notice, like, in a lot of the scenes that more things from part 2... They paid an homage to the original Evil Deads, which I really appreciated. But I did note that they kind of did more things from part 2 that were making me believe, that I still kind of am still processing and believing, is that they are going to try to make another one, maybe? Quotation marks? Or not quotation mark, question mark?
Wait, you were saying about like another one after this one?
Yes, like I think that this movie is going to have a sequel.
Oh, 100%. I feel like we have to because of the ending.
Yes,
beginning.
that is exactly what Mateo had said too. And then I was like, I agree. So I want to know what that would look like. But I also know that this movie honestly exceeded my expectations. So I kind of don't want them to like make another one because we always know that like
we don't want it
sequels...
to be a Scream thing again.
Exactly, like to a lot of movies, and not even just horror movies, just to a lot of movies, like sometimes sequels are not the best, except for the classic of Shrek. Shrek 1 will always be a favorite, but Shrek 2, yes ma'am, high ratings, yes ma'am. But anyway, so that was my first impression. There was a lot going on there. I am honestly still, like I was telling Jessica before now, like I'm still debating on what my favorite scene is. I can't tell you, but I think one scene that's just staying with me, there's going to be two. The cheese grater scene. That, I will say, it looked a little bit better than I thought. I was expecting her leg to look, it looked like road rash.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like, we were going to see shreds.
I thought we were going to see shreds of her skin. I thought we were going to see bone.
Yeah.
But we didn't. So if you're still listening and you're wanting the spoiler, basically there's a scene where,
Bridget.
It's Bridget. She's been possessed and she chases after her aunt. Her aunt is crawling away on her stomach and Bridget catches her legs and she grabs a cheese grater and she just starts going to town on her leg. See, and that's... I will say, I did see a little bit of a spoiler of that on TikTok, but I didn't see what it looked like, obviously. So I thought it was going to look a lot worse, but it didn't. It just looked a little bit like road rash, like pretty harsh road rash. So that one, or I also really like the scene where Beth, the aunt, is in Danny's room and she's listening to the record with headphones, and then you can see in the corner,
that
the back
bitch.
corner, the mom crawling out of the ceiling, and it's completely blurry, so all you see is a figure. And the entire time I was like, nope. So I really like those two scenes because they give very much very much anticipation, and I loved it. Now my favorite kill, I'm going to have to go with the final kill. The final kill is so good. where Beth grinds up the mom / Bridget and / Danny combo monster, which when it was crawling around, you don't actually get a full view of what it looks like until they're like in front of the grinder, and then you see all of them just all combined and contorted. You know that one episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Squidward mesh as one because they get in front of Sandy's like little gay run. I'm dead. Gun ray thing, and it ends up combining SpongeBob and Squidward, and he has like they're all different limbs, and that's exactly what this looked like, but 10 times worse. But it was just so funny, also because Ellie just would not die. The mom, she kept coming back for everything.
Like I knew that she was never gonna die. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, I wonder, and I think this is honestly true, but I think it's because the main demon possessed her body, and that
I see
main
what you
demon
mean.
is like
so
strong.
it's like not dying,
right?
Yeah.
So obviously the body, yes, for many reasons. But the demon itself, like at the end, the mom died, yes, but the spirit, like how was that not meat grinder? How was that a tree? What's it called?
It's a tree chopper? Tree grinder? I mean, it's a grinder of some sort. It's like that really big machine that you put wood through.
Yeah. I'm just going to call it grinder.
Yeah. A wood chipper.
Yeah.
Basically a wood chipper.
Yeah, like that wood chipper is obviously not going to get rid of the actual demon.
The spirit of the demon,
it just got rid of the body.
The body.
Of the, fuck, there's a word.
Host?
Yes, the host.
The host.
Yes, there we go.
Host that
Thank you.
That it's trying to possess. Yeah, 100%. But I also loved it because the blood. The blood in that scene, holy fuck.
The blood.
The blood was a bit much. And not for me.
Right.
Because my brother-in-law and I were talking about it the other day, but he was like, what do you mean, like what's like your cap on like what you can't watch? And I'm like, I don't know. And I will say, I think it's with scenes where it's like with kids or women or anyone who's just like very vulnerable and they can't fight off for themselves. Those are the type of scenes that I am very like, ugh.
Hey, there was a scene.
In this one?
Yeah. That I hated.
Oh, like for that reason?
Yeah.
Okay. The cat?
No.
Oh.
I actually have a fun fact about the cat.
Oh.
When we get to our facts.
To our facts. Okay, great. I love that.
What I was talking about is the little kid who just wanted to watch Freddy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, don't fucking mess with him, ugly.
And then she marked his ass.
Didn't she?
She marked his ass.
Well, yes, but didn't...
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah. But didn't she, unless I was, like, seeing wrong, didn't she, like, rip both of his arms out?
Oh, I didn't see
Unless
that.
I'm tripping. But anyway, I hated that.
I will say, I was stuffing my face into a salad.
Okay.
Some scenes. So there were some scenes. And then because Alamo Drafthouse is so fucking dark, obviously, as a theater should be.
Yeah.
That's also just one of the downsides I hate about, like, dinner theaters is that I can't see my food.
Right.
So I don't know what I'm digging into. But, yeah, I don't know exactly how he died. I just know that she chunked him against the wall.
Right.
I mean,
he was pretty tiny, so maybe that did end him, but I thought...
that right there just ended him.
I thought I saw his arms were missing, but maybe I'm just tripping. But anyway.
Could be.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue. I just really loved it because it was a really red scene. It was a lot of gore. I also, again, there always has to be a final line with our final girl or final guy that it always ends up being so cheesy. But I didn't hate hers. It was a cheesy like final line, but I didn't hate it and I actually liked it, which is where she says that only my sister gets to call me that, and then she just fucking rams her like through the head with the chainsaw.
That gave me Evil Dead 2013 vibes.
Yeah,
you know what?
True.
When Mia or whoever. Yes, I knew that an iconic line was about to be delivered right before that, but I was honestly expecting a little bit more. Like, yes, it's cute. Like,
I see what you mean.
You know, it's cute. It's vulnerable.
It's like the scene itself is so dramatic.
Yeah,
so the least you could do is give a really dramatic,
even more dramatic.
Line.
Yeah, I don't know what I was. I think I was expecting a specific line. I do it like it was cute. Like it was good.
Yeah.
But I was just expecting a little.
You were expecting a little more, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But what about you? Your first impression, scene, and kill.
Yeah. So first impression, again, I watched it last night.
I know. I was like, we just kind of shared it together since we were there
with Monica, and all of our friends and my sister. My eyes never left the screen.
I love that.
Kid you not, my eyes were glued to the screen. I was just mesmerized at what I was watching.
From beginning to end,
I'm
too.
genuinely surprised that my notes are so clean and in order, because when I tell you I wasn't even seeing where I was
going to say, I could not see what I was writing, so a lot of my lettering is extremely big.
I wasn't even seeing where I was writing or anything, but I tensed up. I tensed up. My shoulders were tense as fuck after the movie. And I remember when I got up, I was like, ow, ow. And Kelly was like, are you sore? And I was like, yes. Because I just went through all of that.
Yeah, it was a lot to process.
Yeah, my knees were fucking up. I will say, when Ellie was dyeing her hair red, and she had the cute ass outfit on. I mean, it was super basic, but it was like a white button up and like blue boxers or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a cosplay as that bitch.
Yeah,
I'm a cosplay
she looked good.
Number one, she looked good as hell. Number two, I got red hair. Is it faded as fuck? Yeah.
Extremely. Okay. Stating the facts. Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, I was like, wait, that's such a cute fit. So
I love that.
I might maybe dress up as her.
I love that.
Maybe
Because don't you
Halloween.
have a white button up like that, or is it a different color?
Do what?
Don't you have
Yeah,
a white?
I have like two. Cause,
yeah.
Because I I used to dress up as Draco Malfoy back when I was blonde. So
moving on.
I definitely do have a white button up. Anyway, yeah. So
I 100% agree, though.
number one,
You
number
should.
two. Why are they throwing my name out there like that?
What do you mean? Don't you love listening to
Yeah,
your name in
but
movies?
why would they do it in the most horrifying movie I've ever seen?
Because they want to let you know that there can be horrible types of Jessicas.
Not me though.
She was a big bimbo.
She sure was.
She sure was.
God bless her. But yeah, that's of course. The second that they said Jessica, I looked to my left and everyone was staring at me.
We're all staring at her.
I was
It
like, what do
so
y'all
funny.
want?
Because we know that you love hearing your name.
Yeah.
And I was I'm not even kidding. That's the first note in my order
Bitch, me
card.
too.
It
Wait.
says, character named Jessica. And then I put Jessica reading Wuthering Heights when she was like
Wait,
chanting.
Yeah, I literally my notes are Jessica, Wuthering Heights, Death, Scalp, title card. So
Yep.
obviously we'll get into that a little bit more. But yeah, so that was basically my first impression, is that I was tense. I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. I want to cosplay as Ellie, and my name.
Love.
My name being thrown out there. And I thought it was so cute how, I mean, R.I.P., but I thought it was so cute how Jessica's friend was like, Jess? And I was like, wait, that's
Oh, my God, me, I'm Jess.
Yes. Anyway, so that was it. But of course I could go on about my first impression, but we would spend like 17 hours here.
Just a bit.
My favorite scene, again, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot, but I can't tell the difference on whether or not I really like them or if they were just way too scary for me.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
But one scene that absolutely left me like, holy shit, I cannot, like, my eyes cannot leave the screen, is the bathtub screen. Is the bathtub scene.
That was on my notes as well.
When they throw that bitch in there and she started having some sort of whatever.
Seizure?
It was like,
seizure possession.
yeah. And she just fucking like rises. Because here's the thing. Obviously, at this point, I think that they still thought that she was just like sick or whatever.
Sick, yeah.
You know, or like maybe she just fainted or whatever. But when that bitch started crawling up the walls, I was like, come on, guys. Let's wake up a little bit. Let's wake up a little bit.
Let's pick up the pace in this brain,
You know.
because she is obviously not just sick.
Yeah.
She is possessed.
Yes. Oh my God. I think I kind of blanked out during that scene because I honestly can't remember it super well.
It's so good. That scene was amazing.
All I know is that scene fucked me up.
And I love how, again, paying the homage to the original, of like when she's peeking out of the bathtub and you like how they do the peeking through the doors of the basement. Like, I love that so much. But yes, crawling on the ceiling. I also love how she opened her mouth, started yelling.
Oh my God.
Extremely loud.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
she just flops over like a dead fish. From ceiling to bathtub.
Yep.
That shit was so funny.
Yep. Yeah, basically it was super creepy. That scene was super creepy. Also, this scene isn't specifically a death, so I think it's safe for me to call it a scene and not specifically a death. I don't know. I think it's just repeating myself. But, oh my God, I suck.
I mean, I was going to say, well, to be fair, a lot of the quote-unquote deaths in this aren't deaths because they come back.
Right.
But the initial death.
Yeah. But Jessica's friend, I don't remember her name. Listen, I noticed that bitch twirling that girl's hair, and I said, "Where are we going with this?
Yes.
Where are we going with this?
Like, what's so important about the hair?
I was like, oh, she's doing a little. I mean, I know she was possessed, but I was like, oh, she's doing a little, And then that bitch descalped her.
Yes, she did. She sure did. She grabbed her by her trenzas and said, "Yeet."
She sure did.
She yeeted that bitch.
Yeah.
And that looked. She also did it clean off.
She sure
like
did.
If it was Velcro.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Bloody
ouchie.
Velcro.
Yeah. That scene definitely gave Terrifier vibes.
Yeah. I loved it so much. I will also say I think the hair twirling thing is just a thing because I know because Ellie was doing it as well whenever the little her younger daughter Cassie was peeking through the peephole and she was sitting crisscross applesauce facing away from the door and she's like twirling her hair. But then also in the original Evil Dead, I forget who it is, but it's the blonde girl with the white dress who kept laughing at Ash and I don't know what, but she was just twirling her hair the entire time. I don't know what it is. I think it's supposed to be like a sign of innocence.
Maybe.
Being, I don't know, it could be a whole thing, but it's just, I just love seeing that.
Yeah.
But that descalping, it did something to me.
It sure did.
And it
Yeah.
put me in a terrified light.
Yeah.
I love how then after that, Jessica's friend went out to the dock to try to get Jessica's boyfriend to be like, hey, and obviously she's like crawling to him and then he's like, what the fuck happened to you? And she just like drops her scalp, like walking behind her.
Yeah.
I love it.
My favorite kill, there's so many great ones, but I think the one that really caught me off guard, I don't know if you know.
No, it caught me off guard too.
Okay. It's so fucked up. It is.
Imagine.
Dude.
I would immediately vomit. I would vomit to my death. Like, that's how I would die.
Yeah. So, mine, and again, I can't tell if this is my favorite kill. But it was definitely a kill.
For
that
sure.
has not been able to leave my mind. It was when Ellie chewed off Gabriel's eye.
She was sucking on that thing, too.
She was sucking on that thing. And she spits it out into Jake's mouth, aka Gabriel's brother.
Yes.
And he just chokes on it. Can we no, like, let's be so fucking for real right now. Let's be so fucking for real. Like, that shit was not funny. Like, what the fuck?
I did a big gasp with my hand on my mouth because I was like, what the fuck was that?
There were so many things going on, so I didn't have time to, like, think about it, but 2 seconds later, it caught up to me, and I was like, what the fuck
when
did
I
I
tell
just
you
watch?
I would instantly vomit, and I would vomit to my death, it was a whole... that was a spiritual movement right there.
I was like,
I feel like, ew, she's chewing his eye out, and then she chunks it.
And then she chunks it into his brother's mouth.
Yeah, first of all, why was it open? Why was your mouth open?
Because he was watching his brother get his eye like, chewed out.
I mean, I guess it was just, I don't know.
Anyway,
but that was a good kill because then she ends up killing Gabriel that way anyway.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, Gabriel eventually like pops up to the peephole, and then she like, slits his throat. Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was also a cute little because then that's how she splatters the peephole, and then so there's blood everywhere. So yeah, that was a good kill. I like that one.
Yeah,
that one was really good. So I guess we can just kind of discuss some favorite parts of the movie and see if you guys have watched it. We would love to know what you guys think about. We have when we say an abundant amount of notes, we do. So we'll just kind of go through a few of them and mention some of our favorite things. I love the title scene. That title scene, beautiful. I thought that was an amazing way to like credit a title scene.
I loved it, but I also loved the song, not the song,
like,
but like
the music behind it,
the soundtrack. Yeah,
the soundtrack to this movie, which I think was also something else I was going to mention, is that it was very old school. Like the music and the background noises and the soundtrack to this movie, it was giving me like old, like honestly, like the Exorcist type of like movie. I didn't hate it as much, but it did make me cringe because of how loud it was. So I did
Yeah.
find myself being very like, oh my God, that's so loud. But that's how a lot of older movies were, is that they were just really quiet in some scenes, and then they'd be like,
Yeah.
like with the background noises. And that's what that title scene deserved, because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
The levitation, and then just like the title in the background.
Oh my God, it was so good.
It was
like,
beautiful.
I can't think of my favorite title cards at the back of my mind, but
Right. I have a few.
yeah. But this one for sure was
This one was a good
was
one.
good.
I loved it.
I actually
I think I had reposted someone who posted it on Instagram, like to our story, because
I
it
actually
was so nice.
took a Snapchat of it.
You did?
Yeah, I recorded it.
I loved it.
It was so good, and it just like cuts to black. It was
Yeah,
so good.
and then boom, you have
Yeah.
like the rest of the movie to go on. So I loved it. Something that I would like to mention that I think is now a rule, that I think it's been a rule, but it's kind of unsaid because it might be a little controversial. And you know what? That's fine. But I think along with not having sex in horror movies and never to split up, don't have kids. And don't have kids in a setting where you think you're going to be possessed or be chased.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she didn't know that she was ever going to get possessed or
I guess
anything.
that's fair. But okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She didn't know she was going to be possessed.
Yeah. My thing is, yes, never have kids, like, whatever. But I don't know, like, if this, if this is like people not being knowledgeable, and I know we're talking about a fictional world.
Well, okay, that's also something else we're going to reiterate, is that
Like,
we're talking about a movie.
We are talking about a movie. But hey, people like this actually exist, which is so scary.
100%.
But what I don't understand is, if you see something that is binded together, what is it in your mind that's like, this is binded and I'm going to rip it open because I want to see what it is.
And I want to see what's going on inside.
Like,
And then, okay, let's say you kind of get past that and you're like, I'm just that curious. And you're like, okay, you look through the pages and you see like those type of drawings or those type of, if you see a language that you can't read, it's not for you.
It's not.
It's not for you.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Bind it back together. Put it away where you found it. Don't take it home. It was a thing that I was like, this movie would not have happened if there were no kids involved.
Right.
Well, I guess that's not true because, I mean, Evil Dead 1 and 2, Ash didn't learn his lesson from the first movie, so he did it again. But not 100% true. But kids are too curious. And then the scene where Cassie opens the door for her mom.
Bitch.
I was like, that.
I
was like, you
I didn't
bitch.
scream during that, but I jumped, and Kelly's boyfriend that was sitting right next to me, probably like jumped because I jumped because it was, dude, that shit scared the fuck out of me.
She just rams. Like, it took her just unlocking the top lock for her to come in and try to take
But
her.
that pissed me off. I'm like, bro, Cassie.
I was like,
that's
you see that she looks
like your
not
mom,
good.
but she's not your fucking mom. Your
no.
mom's been
And then
dead.
she went on to say, like, I thought she was getting better. Like,
How?
no.
How?
I understand. She's like 5 or whatever, so I'm sure
don't care.
she's very gullible. That's her mom, but she don't look like your mom. She looks like a very possessed version. So I hope she learns.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, I just thought that was funny because there's also like a lot of the movies too, like that scene in The Quiet Place or Quiet Place in general. Okay. It made me very much like, I don't want kids. There's quite a few other movies that I'm sure we'll get into where I'm like,
And listen, I even wrote this down on my notes. I wrote that, yes, Monica and I are horror lovers and everything, but we would never do that shit.
no,
We would never do that shit.
absolutely not.
We see something bonded, we're leaving that shit alone.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm
We
gonna let it be.
might sell it.
And
I might sell it.
sell it to an ancient artifact.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah. But
wanna-
we, nuh-uh.
Absolutely
ma'am.
not. We're gonna acknowledge it, and then we'll talk about it, and then people won't believe us because we won't take proof. I'm not having a picture of that in my camera roll either. Have it follow me.
The fuck? Anyway.
No, thank you.
But touching back a little bit on that cheese grater scene,
Yeah.
I read tweets and TikToks and all of that about this scene, and I was like, why are people hyping it up so much? And thankfully, people are smart enough to not spoil it because everyone wanted spoilers, and everyone, like, the people who had watched it already were like, no, like, I want you guys to watch it, blah, blah, blah. So that was my experience, like, reading about it, but of course I didn't know what was
Right.
the actual scene.
Right.
So personally, like, I love gore.
Yeah.
I thought this scene was super cool.
Yeah.
And it was definitely unique.
I loved it.
But something that this was a new experience for me, because I feel like it's kind of like, I don't want to say the word stereotype, but a stereotype in horror is that, you know, anytime anyone watches a horror movie or whatever, they scream because of how scared they are, right? Mm-hmm. I had never experienced someone screaming for a horror movie, whether it's in theaters or whether we're watching it at our house, whatever. But thank you, Kelly, for being the first person I hear actually
screamed?
genuine scream. I think it was Kelly. I'm like 98% sure it was Kelly during the cheese grater scene.
I did not notice that.
Yeah,
I was
heard-
just so mesmerized.
I heard a scream and I was like, this is amazing. I've never experienced this before. And it sounded so good too. So whoever it was, maybe it was not Kelly, but whoever it was has a great scream.
I've never noticed that.
And I
didn't notice that.
yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
I will say, I think I can too, or I think I can also say that I don't think I've also witnessed like people screaming to a horror movie, at least when they're watching it with me. So, but I hate that I didn't catch that, but then again, I was just so in focus in this movie that I found myself like tipped over and leaning against my knees, just watching like a child.
Yeah.
So and then I had to like push myself back because I was like, okay, I need to like just push back. But I love that. Yeah. I love that they felt the need to
yeah, absolutely. And like,
express.
Yeah, it made me so happy.
I love that.
But anyway, so we know that this movie is a movie, right?
100%.
And if someone were to ask me, hey, what is horror? Like, not even, hey, you know, recommend me a horror movie. No.
You want horror?
You want horror? Here you go. Here you go. Because if you think about it, you have a little bit of everything. You have
possession.
Gore.
You have gore.
Possession.
You have like
family.
You have
like,
family
and,
that are always
family's
like,
always like a topic in horror, whatever.
That's true.
If you think about it,
I feel like there's also, I think they tried to do this thing where when some like they try to make it seem not always realistic, because obviously when are you ever going to be in an elevator that's going to fill up with blood, right? But I think it's like getting a little too close to home where it's like that can happen to my family, or like when something so close to you is affected, then you're kind of left with this like, would I do that?
And I think this movie hit a little bit harder for a lot of people because this movie was so family oriented, we were actually rooting for them. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
For example, Evil Dead Remake 2013, personally, I wasn't rooting for anyone because we didn't really care about them.
No.
Like, they were just like, characters, right? But here, we actually kind of knew a little bit about their situation and everything, and we were really rooting for them, and I felt horrible.
I was actually going to say I was even rooting for the mom.
Yeah,
for
me
a good
too.
Minute, but I also think it had to do because of Alyssa Sutherland. I love her so much.
Yeah.
But I agree, and I think something that I read in a review was that the character development, I think especially for Beth, it's not forced, but it makes you like love her in a way that she starts off very grunge and like, I don't really care about the world, and like, yeah, whatever, like I don't even want to be pregnant, to becoming this like big huge mama bear and being like, I'm going to fight for whoever stays alive. And then Danny and Bridget get possessed, so she's like, fuck it, I guess they're dying. She's like, but I'm saving Cassie. And like she just ends up finding something to fight for. And then of course, you know, the little moment that Cassie gave her of like, you're gonna be a mom, and then she gives like a really long pause, and then she's like, yeah, I am. And then she's like, oh, okay, like cool.
She's like, you're gonna be a good mom because
you know how to lie to kids.
I was like, very sweet. One thing I do give this movie is they never gave us a break.
They didn't. It was
constant
and on a go.
I was telling my sister, I think it was my sister or either all of y'all, but I feel like the reason why I love movies like Sinister, Insidious, The Conjuring is because they actually give you a break in between the scares.
Like to have dialogue in between with people. Yeah,
just like a break into the outside world, you know what I mean? But I felt so claustrophobic watching this movie, and not in like a horrible way, but it's because we were trapped in one setting.
100%.
You know what I mean?
This is something that we had mentioned, I think, with Saw, because this is all in one night, and this is all in one setting, and this is like you have
It's filmed in
nothing-
chronological order.
Yeah, like you have nothing but, like, you don't have anything to feel but claustrophobic, and like all of these things that are happening all at once, and that way when you're left with the ending, you're just like, what? And I will say I like the break that we get. Well, I mean, it's not really a break, but like the break at the end, which is also something that I think I wrote down, that this movie ends the way it begins, and I am obsessed with that. Well, like not exactly, but it correlates, and it all matches up. And
then one last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is the elevator scene.
I love the elevator scene.
Me too. Well, the last one, although the first one, which
technically
is
2 elevator scenes. The first one where Mom Mac gets fully possessed, which that right there, I will say, I saw some behind the scenes of that before we watched the movie. Alyssa Sutherland did all of her
stunts.
Yeah. She did really great. But yes, the second one.
It gave huge. The second one where Beth and Cassie are going down and it gets filled with blood and all of that, and the elevator door opens and they just get flooded with, oh my god, it's just amazing. Obviously huge Shining vibes,
very huge,
and I loved it. There was so much blood. I love me a good blood bath scene.
It was very corn syrupy.
But I saw this fact or whatever. It says, aside from the obvious tide of blood coming from the elevator, there are other references to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. At the beginning of the movie, there is a fast flight through the woods, just like the one used in the original Evil Dead movies and series, to symbolize the movement of the demonic entities. In one moment, it flights over a lake, very similar to the beginning of The Shining. Later, when Ellie, aka Alyssa Sutherland, is left outside the apartment, Beth is holding the entrance door very similarly to as Jack Nicholson does. When Shelley Duvall locks him up in the pantry. The same shot from bottom to top is used.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah. So
I will also say that I also love how Ellie is a comedic genius at being possessed, and a lot of her lines and a lot of her jokes. Whenever she was first possessed and then she comes back into the apartment and Beth is obviously really scared of her, and she charges at her like halfway, like to scare her, and then after that she like fully charges at her. But I love the line of, I forgot which, I think it's Danny who asks her like, what's wrong with you, or are you okay, or something like that. And Ellie says, and I quote, I have it somewhere on here,
is it Mommies with the Maggots now?
No. But that one is also good.
Titty sucking parasites?
Yes. She says, I am now free from you titty sucking parasites.
Yeah.
The way I died laughing, I'm obsessed with that. Also, the scene where Bridget is swallowing glass, she says, I have to kill the creepy crawlies that are inside my stomach. Or tummy. And she's like, I don't like having things inside my tummy, do you? And I was like, And then when Ellie's like sniffing her, and then she's like, I will eat your soul.
And she goes,
like, two souls? This lady is funny.
She's comedic genius. I'm telling you, she's giving me art vibes.
Yes, ma'am.
But finally getting into the cast, which, I mean, I feel like at this point.
I love Alyssa Sutherland. Okay.
Of course, we have Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie / the mom.
Woo.
Lily Sullivan as Beth / the sister, Ellie's sister. Morgan Davies, Danny. Nell Fisher, Cassie. Gabrielle Eccles, Bridget. Mia Chalice as Jessica. Jaden Daniels as Gabriel / the neighbor. And of course, many others.
For a few others, we just couldn't, well, at least I couldn't really find the names, but I'm so glad that everyone in this movie delivered.
Yes.
Everyone served, and I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed with Alyssa Sutherland's work in this movie. She did a phenomenal job. I could have sworn I've seen her in something else besides The Devil Wears Prada.
Low key, I thought that was Olivia Wilde.
Okay, well, no.
I was like, Ariana, what are you doing here?
Ariana, what are you doing here? No, I love it. I love her so much. But I will say, I love how she took this role and she made me love her as a villain. I loved her so much. She was, I think she might be on the same level, maybe not the same level, but I love her as much as I love Art. Like, they're both, given she was possessed. But they were both just so comedic. They were charismatic with, like, their mannerisms and their lines and, like, everything that they did for the role of being villains this way. I loved it so much, and I love her. She's also so pretty. And then something that I saw, which I'm obsessed about, is that we love the trans representation from Mr. Morgan, who is also Australian, like Alyssa Sutherland. But Morgan also did a really fantastic job, especially acting possessed. He was giving me this creepy ass laugh that I did hear in my dreams.
Bro, I actually kind of wrote about him.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Danny has I think it's pronounced like a deadite.
Yeah. I think
like him, them possessed.
Dating, yeah.
Was creepy as fuck.
Very.
Like, yes, don't get me wrong. Ellie slash Alyssa
mom, yeah.
did amazing, but for some reason, Danny like really scared me.
Yeah, and Bridget
I think it's because
did too, but Bridget wasn't. I don't know.
I think with me, I think it's because Danny has like kind of like puppy eyes, and when he was covered in blood, all you could see were his like.
Not
his
eyes,
eyes,
but like his left of her eyes.
Like it was just like red and then just like eyes. I don't know. It was so creepy. I don't know. It was so creepy.
The view of it was terrifying.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Alyssa Sutherland be in more horror movies.
There we go.
Yeah. English is hard.
Yeah.
But she is probably right now. She's at my top scream queen.
100%.
Yeah.
She plays a possessed woman so well, and that is the best way that I could put it.
She scared the
I don't
ever want to meet Alyssa Sutherland because she convinced me that she was possessed.
She was so creepy, and I'm obsessed with that though. I love a woman who could do both. Who could do like the whole like what is it, struggling mom of 3, but also give me this
rip
horrible
your soul out,
possessed host of. Oh my gosh, it was so awful.
Speaking of that a little bit, so Cherry Picks interviewed Alyssa Sutherland, and before I actually get into the actual fact about this interview that I read, I want to say a quote that Alyssa said. It says, "We've been watching men behave badly on screen for so long. It's time we put messy, disturbed, and bad women on screen as well."
Queen. #per.
I love that.
Because
it's so true.
Because where's the lie?
Yeah, exactly. It's so true.
I love the representation that we are going with in media now. I'm obsessed with that quote. I will be tattooing that on my forehead.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. But yeah, now on to the actual fact that I read from this same interview is that Alyssa mentions that she got inspiration from Jim Carrey's The Mask for her Deadite character, like the movements.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I will say Jim Carrey in The Mask, and honestly in any role that he has to be so fluid. Like his body movements are so fluid and they're very...
I feel like they're very like cat-likey. They're like, she just moves so like
this
yeah.
and like that. And like, if you can see me right now, you know what I'm talking about. But yes, they're very fluid-like and they're very...
smooth.
Ding, ding, ding.
Another fun fact is that the Deadites make a few references to previous films in their dialogue when they say everyone will be dead by dawn.
Dead by dawn. Yeah. Dead by dawn.
And Ellie tells Beth, "I'll swallow your soul."
I love that. But then that's when she gets like 2 souls.
Yeah. And then another one is director Lee Cronin confirmed online. I don't have source, but
somewhere
you gotta live online, right? It says he confirmed that the cat seen and heard in the vents of the apartment complex does in fact survive the events of the film.
Good. So because I was afraid that she was crawling down from the ceiling in the corner of that room, that she would have like the dead cat in her mouth.
Number one, but number two, I thought that we were gonna hear him like cry and die, and I was
That's
like,
I had my ears covered with my hands, and I looked away.
But also I was worried because of like the OG and like the remake and everything with the dead cats hanging from the basement or whatever. I was like, I don't want to fucking see that.
like I don't want to see all that.
So thank you to Lee Cronin for being smart.
For being smart and not taking it that far.
Yeah.
Because as much as I think that's another thing that I mean. It's just like when it's like animals, kids, and like women who can't fight back, I'm just very like, why stop?
Yeah, like not necessary.
It's not comfy. Yeah, exactly.
And then the last fact that I've got for y'all is that on the podcast Extra Vision, again, director Lee Cronin revealed that all the characters' names were named after actors that had previously appeared in the Evil Dead series.
Oh, I love that. I don't think I went into that far and deep dive to actually realize that.
Right.
But I love that. I'm telling you, I think they did a very, very... This is one of the few movies that they modernized extremely well. And I am so happy the way that, like, the product of this movie, the way it came out. Right now, Evil Dead is at my top. It's before Scream, 100%. I have to say.
Dude, no. Oh, my God. I'm literally getting chills. Like, oh, my God. I swear, y'all, this movie
No, I will say, so people get scared by different things. So if you watch this movie and you're not scared, that's fine. We're just saying that I think, personally, like, having it to come from an original series that was built in, like, the 1970s, it does really well. It's extremely gory. Alyssa Sutherland does a really good job at being creepy. So take that with a grain of salt when we say of how much we think that this movie did so well.
But I mean, hey.
But it did its job for me.
It did its job. Listen, one little thing that I want to add before we get into our little would you rather? Yeah. So when I was watching the trailer, I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Right.
I did hear really good things about it, and listen, execute me all you want. I don't give a shit. But I genuinely thought that the people who were saying that this movie was so good were the fake horror fans.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like
people
the TikTok horror fans.
Right.
Again, kill me all you want, hate me all you want.
I don't think that's too much of a controversial thing because I am also on like the horror side of TikTok, and I think a lot of people agree that like there are some people. I also think it might be a generational thing too. I mean, people who didn't get to grow up with the original series, they might not really know. And then I feel, again, if you're watching those older movies now, it's not going to hit the same. Because I will say, the original Evil Dead's very gruesome. Very scary. Especially, I can only imagine, for the 1970s.
Right.
Because that movie is disturbing.
But I was I was telling my sister this because we were talking about it on our way to the theater, and she was like, I thought the exact same thing that you thought, but she said, she said that she watched 3C Films review on this movie, and she was like, I know he's a true horror fan, and he loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, okay.
I was going to say, I hadn't seen his, but I would trust him as well.
Me too.
So I think it's true to say that Lee Cronin did an amazing job with producing, directing this movie. I feel the way it needed to be. So, my fellow horror freaks, I really do hope that you enjoyed this product as much as everyone else is, because if you haven't seen this movie, you desperately need to.
Yeah. Yes. But finally, moving along with the episode a bit, I think it's a comfortable spot right now to play a little Would You Rather? Yeah. So we're going to go kind of basic on this, but, just kind of paying a little honor to the OG Evil Dead as well. But based on the first film, would you rather be in this setting where you are stuck with possessed deadites from the comfort
of your own home,
quote unquote, comfort of your own home, or in a cabin? But either way, you're still stuck.
Either way, you're stuck.
Can't leave.
You can't escape.
So
like, you can't leave. You can't leave.
All you can do is fight back.
All you can do is fight back and hope
and pray.
And pray. Because the fact that, what if they didn't have a wood chipper? You know what I mean? Like, in the garage for this movie, like, if they didn't have a wood chipper, like, how would she have killed them otherwise?
Personally, I think it would have been, like, yes, I know that whatever the fuck that was, that whole human centipede looking thing.
I'm telling you, that thing was also creepy. I thought that was crawling down my hallway.
Oh, 100%. But, like, what do you think would be easier? Would it be easier to fight off all of them separate?
Oh.
or that little thing.
That little ball
of thing. Yeah.
Of combining them. I don't know, because they're pretty fucking strong separately.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how strong. Which also, sorry, bringing back to before they became this whole concept of a monster, the way that they were digging into her.
Mm-hmm. And that bitch was just laughing.
Oh, she was laughing. She was enjoying it.
They were tickling her.
I was like, that's disgusting. They were like, we're trying to make our way back into the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, go ahead. Anyway, yeah, that was disgusting to see. But I don't know. I feel like I would try to fight off the monster, because it's like, fuck it, all of them at once.
Yeah.
3 birds with one stone.
Like 7 birds with one stone.
That's true.
Honestly. Because it was...
I only saw their 3 heads, so I assumed it was just them who, like,
But
converted into
well,
one.
because everyone else woke up too, right? It was
Yeah,
like
that's
Gabriel,
true.
the
Oh, that's
neighbor,
true.
Jake, the little kid.
Yeah. That old man was...
Listen, when that man brought out the Glock, which, I mean, it wasn't really a Glock. It was more like a...
like the whole shotgun.
The whole
which
shotgun.
is another homage. I mean, the chainsaw and the shotgun in homage to the original movies as well.
That was the only time where I was pro-gun.
I was only time you will find me pro-gun is when it's in horror movies.
Yes, ma'am. When that man shot the shit out of Ellie.
And then, like, when Gabriel was like, no, give me a second. He's like, if you don't just let me shoot through that lock.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no. But yes, when he pulled it out, I said, immediately, go ahead, right
yes,
now.
ma'am.
You should have done that hours ago.
And then when the neighbor grabbed Beth's, I can't speak, ankle, and was like... something, calling her like a slut or something. I was like...
Because she grabbed his gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this movie's great, y'all.
Dude,
y'all need to go watch this so that... We're also still, like, processing the movie, so there's a lot for us to talk about, but we would definitely like to know once you get to watch it and tell us what you think, because I thought it was really good.
But... back to the would you rather. Wait, okay, well now we have 2. Number 1, would you rather be stuck in the situation from the quote unquote comfort of your own home or in a cabin? And would you rather, number 2, would you rather fight off the Deadites separately or that little ball monster?
The mash ball of a monster.
The little cockroach.
So as far as setting, I don't want to be paranoid of living where I live. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would move.
I guess that's true.
I
guess
would
it's just like
I would move to a whole different country.
I think it's the fact that, like, it could happen in your home. You know what I mean? But I think, because I was going to say, because then I know where everything is. And, like, I know if I have hiding spots.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I would also say home.
Setting home. And then I'd fight off that big-ass mash ball.
Me too.
Because I'm taking me a big Glock and just shooting twice.
100%.
And hoping it does the job.
100%,
And then if not, I'll find some.
No, yeah, same. Setting wise for me, I would definitely say home because number 1, I know where everything is.
Right.
I know where the knives are. I know where the Glock is. I'm just kidding.
I know where the Glock is. Like, I know where it's all at.
I know where to hide, you know. The only thing that I always think about is like my pets. Like, how am I going to protect them, you know?
That's true.
But in this scenario,
I don't have pets.
In this scenario, they are
they're at grandma's.
They're at the grandma's this weekend. They're at the grandma's this weekend.
Thankfully, they came on the weekend that my cats are with the grandmas.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so
I love that.
Setting, I would say my home, and then who I'd rather fight. That little human centipede cockroach looking thing.
Because let me tell you, I'm not about to John Wick these bitches. I'm not about to John Wick like these deities talking about, I could do this, that, fight this way, fight that. No. If there's too many of them coming at me, swarming at me, I'm playing possum and playing dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've got our would you rather out of the way, let's go ahead and rate our movie. So this is a horror movie, so we will be using our satisfactory scale and our scary scale. Just because a movie is good doesn't always mean it's scary, and vice versa. So, Jessica, what are your ratings?
So, scary for me.
Scary.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I went home, shit in my pants.
Yes. I haven't felt this tense watching a horror movie in a really long time.
Because Scream didn't give us that. We were just so excited to watch it.
I know. Yeah. No, it fucked me up. It did fuck me up. I'm thankful that I didn't have any nightmares.
Right.
But I did get scared because I kicked out my cat at 4 in the morning, and I was just shit in my pants thinking I don't want to turn my back against.
And find Ellie just standing in
Yeah.
your hallway.
No, stop. Oh my God, stop.
It's awful. Like, she is so creepy. And I think what also helps is that she's tall.
Yeah.
And she's thin. She also has long fingers. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. So you give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Because that is 100% true.
For
I
scary.
agree. Satisfactory?
Satisfactory. I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Again, no real big complaints. So far, it's definitely my top favorite of the year. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Probably not because I'm scared as fuck. But Satisfactory, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
It spooked me too much.
It was
so I'm gonna dock a point.
It spooked me a little much. I couldn't enjoy it like I enjoy my slashers.
Yeah, I know, right?
This one, I was a little too tense.
And I love me a good paranormal demon possession movie. I do.
Same.
I love them.
But damn.
Hey, give me a warning. You didn't ask for my consent, bro.
Jump scare.
Jump scare. But yeah. What about you?
I will say my scary scale is a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I dropped it a point was because of the comedic relief. It definitely helped in some aspects because as scary as Ellie is or was in this movie, damn is she funny. So she helps a lot, and I appreciated that. But I did leave pretty spooked, and I loved it. Yeah, like, it was a fun scare. Like, I still came home very excited that I watched it, but nonetheless, it was a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we are near the end of today's episode. Thank you to everyone listening, and if you're a new horror freak joining us for the first time, welcome, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to follow us on social media. We will have everything linked in the description of this episode.
Yeah, and we appreciate your support, and we are so happy that we are reaching more and more of you horror freaks almost every day. We are at about like 420 LOL on Instagram now. And that's exciting. So thank you so much for joining, and we hope that you guys stay. So for now, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please stay tuned until next week's episode, which will actually be our final episode of season 1, where so we're not going to be talking about a movie. We are actually going to be rating all of the movies that we've talked about in season 1. So it's going to be kind of like a little award ceremony type thing. Yeah. We're going to be rating all of them, talking about our favorite moments and things like that. So just kind of an overall recap of season 1.
We're very excited.
Yeah.
But, of course, with that being said, thanks for listening. Again, we truly appreciate everyone's support, and we are so glad that you all enjoyed the giveaway. And, of course, stay tuned for more giveaways and more opportunities to win more fun stuff in the future. And we are beyond grateful that we have this experience and this opportunity to even be able to do this for you guys. But, yeah, with that being said, we've been your hosts, Jessica
and Monica.
Stay safe and stay spooky.
Oof, that was scary. I can't wait to come back next week.